Welcome to this episode of A Creation Stories podcast with myself, Christopher Smith. In this episode, I will present The Creation of Man by Prometheus by J.M. Hunt, as presented at the Helenic Society Prometheus Incorporated website, found at prometheus.org. Prometheus and Epimetheus were spared imprisonment in Tartarus because they had not fought with their fellow Titans during the war with the Olympians. They were given the task of creating man. Prometheus shaped man out of mud, and Athena breathed life into his clay figure. Prometheus had assigned Epimetheus the task of giving the creatures of the earth their various qualities, such as swiftness, cunning, strength, fur, and wings. Unfortunately, by the time he got to man, Epimetheus had given all the good qualities out, and there were none left for man. So, Prometheus decided to make man stand upright, as the gods did, and to give him fire. Prometheus loved man more than the Olympians, who had banished most of his family to Tartarus. So when Zeus decreed that man must present a portion of each animal he sacrificed to the gods, Prometheus decided to trick Zeus. He created two piles, one with the bones wrapped in juicy fat, the other with the good meat hidden in the hide. He then bade Zeus to pick. Zeus picked the bones. Since he had given his word, Zeus had to accept this pile as his share for future sacrifices. In his anger over the trick, he took fire away from man. However, Prometheus lit a torch from the sun and brought it back again to man. Zeus was enraged that man again had fire. He decided to inflict a terrible punishment on both man and Prometheus. To punish man, Zeus had Hephaestus create a mortal of stunning beauty. The gods gave the mortal many gifts of wealth. He then had Hermes give the mortal a deceptive heart and a lying tongue. This creation was Pandora, the first woman. A final gift was a jar, which Pandora was forbidden to open. Thus completed, Zeus set Pandora down to Epimetheus, who was staying amongst the men. Prometheus had warned Epimetheus not to accept gifts from Zeus. But Pandora's beauty was too great, and he allowed her to stay. Eventually, Pandora's curiosity about the jar she was forbidden to open became intolerable to her. She opened the jar, and out flew all manner of evils, sorrows, plagues, and misfortunes. However, the bottom of the jar held one good thing: hope. Zeus was angry at Prometheus for three things: being tricked by the sacrifices, stealing fire for man, and refusing to tell Zeus which of Zeus's children would dethrone him. Zeus had his servants, force and violence, seize Prometheus and took him to the Caucasus Mountains and chained him to a rock with unbreakable adamite chains. Here he was tormented day and night by a giant eagle tearing at his liver. Zeus gave Prometheus two ways out of this torment. He could tell Zeus who the mother of the child that would dethrone him was, or meet two conditions. The first was that an immortal must volunteer to die for Prometheus. And the second was that a mortal must kill the eagle and unchain him. Eventually, Chiron, the centaur, agreed to die for him, and Hercules killed the eagle and unbound him. This creation story comes from the Iroquois native population of North America and is read verbatim here as presented by Lindsey Murtagh in her Latin 2 project found at williams.edu. Long before the world was created, there was an island floating in the sky upon which the sky people lived. They lived quietly and happily. No one ever died or was born or experienced sadness. However, one day, one of the sky women realized she was going to give birth to twins. She told her husband, who flew into a rage. In the center of the island, there was a tree which gave light to the entire island, since the sun hadn't been created yet. He tore up this tree, creating a huge hole in the middle of the island. Curiously, the woman peered into the hole. Far below, she could see the waters that covered the earth. At that moment, her husband pushed her. She fell through the hole, tumbling towards the waters below. Water animals already existed on the earth, so far below the floating island, two birds saw the sky woman fall. Just before she reached the waters, they caught her on their backs and brought her to the other animals. Determined to help the woman, they dove into the water to get mud from the bottom of the seas. One after another, the animals tried and failed. Finally, little Toad tried, and when he reappeared, his mouth was full of mud. The animals took it and spread it on the back of the big turtle. The mud began to grow and grow and grow until it became the size of North America. Then the woman stepped onto the land. She sprinkled dust into the air and created stars. Then she created the moon and sun. The sky woman gave birth to twin sons. She named one Sapling. He grew to be kind and gentle. She named the other Flint, and his heart was as cold as his name. They grew quickly and began filling the earth with their creations. Sapling created what is good. He made animals that are useful to humans. He made rivers that went two ways, and into these he put fish without bones. He made plants that people could eat easily. If he was able to do all the work himself, there would be no suffering. Flint destroyed much of Sapling's work and created all that is bad. He made the rivers flow only in one direction. He put the bones in fish and thorns on berry bushes. He created winter. But Sapling gave it life so that it could move to give way to spring. He created monsters which his brother drove beneath the earth. Eventually, Sapling and Flint decided to fight till one conquered the other. Neither was able to win at first, but finally, Flint was beaten. Because he was a god, Flint could not die, so he was forced to live on Big Turtle's back. Occasionally, his anger is felt in the form of a volcano. The Iroquois people hold a great respect for all animals. This is mirrored in their creation myth by the role the animals play. Without the animals' help, the Sky Woman may have sunk to the bottom of the sea, and Earth may not have been created.